All right, I got a fake out there with YouTube. It told me that I was streaming, and I wasn't. It was a fun joke that it does. Let me make this browser a little bit bigger, but not big enough to where it will come into the window to where you will have to look at it. Okay. The chat does not seem active, though. I'm just making sure my little pop-up chat's working. Oh, there we go. We're good. Thank you for validating me there. A lot to do. I need to hire someone really badly. Yeah, so not much new in the last week. Well, I guess a lot new in the last week. I've been doing a surveillance security audit of Ring cameras. I'm not gonna give you too many spoilers because I'm still kind of in the middle of it, but it's been interesting, and I've kind of been sidetracked by Louis Rossman's challenge. He has his agency that he's a part of. I think it's a nonprofit. They're offering like $21,000 to someone who can make a Ring camera operate as an IP camera. And I'm not going to win that challenge because whatever way I do it, it's not going to be user friendly for the average person. However, I do think that I would be able to contribute to it with what I've learned so far, and I'm about to JTAG them. Like to give you an idea, I don't know if my camera is going to actually auto zoom. Some Ring cameras have these there we go. Look at that. Some Ring cameras, see those tiny, tiny pins? To give you an idea, that's like a third, I guess 2/3 the size of an SD card, and it's 20 pins. And so I have like thin strands of copper wire that I have to solder to this thing because it's too small even for I have my whole kit of things to do stuff like that, just little seats for chips, and it's too small for even that. But I do think that that's where all the dirty stuff is done. Please do play a set at Infrasound. Well, I can tell you that I'm booked for a show this year, this spring. I can't tell you. I can't announce the Infrasound lineup though, so I can't really tell you. But it'll be fun. And I'm doing a lot of fun research on visuals. Not as much as I'd want. I would love to be working more on that, but I will be playing a show, and it's gonna be different than my other shows. Like it's not gonna be me with a MIDI guitar. I might not even bring a guitar. My carpal tunnel's too bad, and I'm out of practice for that stuff. But it will be fun, and it will definitely be worth seeing. I plan to kind of tie it into this channel, not in video content wise, but in the overall vibe of my the overall vibe of my main channel. Oh yeah, but anyway, Louis Rossman thing. Yeah, I think I'll be able to contribute to that. And if I do actually come up with a solution to solve it, to make your Ring cameras work as IP cameras that you could use to store stuff locally, then I'm happy to give the award away to charity or pay it forward to another thing or something like that. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's kind of funny whenever you do security research like this, you want, I have to ask people who don't care about security stuff at all, like people who aren't tech minded at all. I have to ask them if they care. Like I have to be like, okay, what if I told you that I could get a Raspberry Pi and sit outside your house for a day, and then this happens and that happens, and then I'd be able to see this. And sometimes people are like, yeah, that would suck, and other times people are like, yeah, who would do that? So yeah, I think that's like my threshold for if I report on something. Speaking of security vulnerabilities, yesterday I went, I'm not going to mention the name of the police department, but I went to a big police department's real-time crime center with all the, it looked like the fucking Pentagon. They had like projectors of like the flock streams and stuff like that. And it was interesting. I mean, it was like, it was definitely not among the company of people who agree with my opinion on this type of thing. But I do think it's important to actually talk to police about, the security posture of these things, because that makes everybody safer. I don't think that me talking about the philosophy of surveillance to a bunch of police officers staring at surveillance cameras is going to have much of an effect. But two things happened. One that was really interesting to me, because obviously I can't legally touch Flock's ecosystem. Like I can't touch their cloud system. And I asked them, I was like, press F12, because all these Flock things were running in Chrome. And I'm like, press F12. Okay, go over to network, go over to media, just to see if they were raw RTSP streams or if they were encrypted. And sure enough, like I just saw them all pop up when they reloaded the page, and I was like, yeah. And they were like, what does that mean? And I was like, that means bad. That means fucking, that means I could like, get a Pineapple Wi-Fi and view all this fucking information from your parking lot. And then the second thing that happened is they gave me a challenge coin. I didn't know what a challenge coin was. Apparently, if you visit a police department and help them in some way, they give you a challenge coin. And the back, I'm going to post a picture of this to my Instagram. I'll scrub out the name of the police department because they are being very transparent and helpful. But the back of the challenge coin has a fucking drone on it in front of a Blue Lives Matter flag. It's like the most dystopian challenge coin I've ever seen. It's the only challenge coin I've ever seen. Anybody here have a challenge coin? Anyone? There's like a minute delay on the chat, so probably I'll be on to something else before you answer. But yeah, I didn't realize what a challenge coin was. I did think that, like if the coin would help me, like if I got pulled over in that city and then was, oh, let me get my license. Whoops, I dropped my challenge coin from your chief of police. I mean, that would probably get me out of a ticket, right? They'd be like, all right, fuck you, you got this. Maybe it would get me out of a murder. Like, maybe it'd get me out of a, like, maybe if I killed, I don't know, 6 or 7 people in cold blood, women, nurses, waited outside of a hospital and killed them in cold blood and then showed the cops my challenge coin, I'd get out of it. But something that probably doesn't translate well in stream, I edit it out of my videos, but my sense of humor is often very straight-faced and dry. So just so you know, I'm not going to kill 6 or 7 women outside of a hospital. I'm going to go for fucking 12 or 13. I'm going to go high. Okay, now I'm going to have to laugh in a very American comedy way. Ha, 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 I am joking. All right, anyway, here's our ACO stream. This is actually, today we're going to be auditing a Wireshark capture of an IP camera, of a Ring camera. It's going to be the most exciting stream ever. Just kidding. We're going to open up FL Studio. Wow, it's really big. I have to make my window size smaller so you can see everything. But that's a good sign. You know why? Because it means that I've been working on music. Not like as much as I want to be working on music, but I've been working on music. I'm really, the sim selections this month has my brain hurting because I'm like, it's a fractal music. And so it's been, how can I do that? Yeah, I mean, Wireshark videos with Wireshark are great because I can be like, hey, here's what I'm doing, and then show you, 72 hours of Wireshark auditing in 30 seconds. And you're like, wow, Wireshark's great. But on a stream, it'd be pretty brutal. I'm going to be honest with you. Good evening from Switzerland. Well, good evening from the land of freedom. That's another joke. One thing that I have not checked out from Arturia in a long time is their piano. And if I am playing a live show, that means that I might be using the astrolabia. And yeah, if I'm using the astrolabia, then it's my MIDI controller loves just not working on streams. Maybe it froze up. No. Somewhere in there. I'm not going through this stream without a MIDI controller. It ain't happening. No way. No way. Ain't doing it. Okay. Sorry. Ain't doing it this time. Did it last week or the week before, whenever it was, and I hated it. Hated not having any interaction with my instrument. Okay. Have we detected yet? I wonder if this Yamaha keyboard, this very expensive Yamaha keyboard, is like on its way out. The MIDI kind of disconnects. I'll reboot her. That's what a piano sounds like, though. Some people keep challenge coins on them, and when they see a service member in the public and thank them for their service, they palm the coin and pass it on with a handshake. It's a thing. I want to make one that shocks you. I want to be like, thank you for your service, and I'll be like, fuck you. All right. Anything yet? I mean, I will literally grab a goddamn MIDI controller off the floor down there, even if it's a little one. I am not going through a stream without a MIDI controller. Ain't happening. Or I'm going to sue Yamaha. Let's plug it into a different port. It shows that it's not plugging in at all. Huh. Well, that's bad news. I think my MIDI port is maybe not working. Or the USB port on the Yamaha is not working. That's lame. Okay, I'll get a key step. We're doing Arturia this whole way, I guess. All right, the key step has what kind of connector? Ooh, keyboard on the desk. I haven't done this in a long time. I hope I have the driver for this thing on here. I literally only use key step for modular. Oh, I like this in front of the keyboard. Maybe I'll figure out, maybe I'll get one of those. Well, initially this desk was going to have, anybody who watched my studio video, initially this desk was going to have a keyboard. Oh, there it is, right there. Easy peasy. This keyboard, this desk was going to have a little keyboard thing, but yeah, had a whole Sweetwater situation with that. All right. I mean, I don't really have the ability to play complex chords the way I like, but I should play in a by the way, this piano doesn't sound as bad as I thought it would. I should play in a jazz bar like this. Am I following the idiotorid? Oh, that's not to me. A Blue Lives Matter flag for waste disposal? Would that just be like a brown streak through the... I guess that would be Plumber Lives Matter. I also like that I can just sequence it from here, can't I? And then, I believe, I could turn the velocity down on this. And also, one thing, I know you can't see the device that I'm working with right now. Why is this recording anything? Get out of here. Very weird. Okay. So this is on the key step. I mean, you don't need to see it. You should just know about this. You can hit like one note, and then you can turn the randomness up, and it stays within the overall like musical variety that you're playing. It's like one of my favorite randoms. Okay, anyway. But yeah, so I'd want to play this on hardware. And I don't know if I want to carry this big ass montage to a show. I hate tack pianos. Not a fan. Yeah, this is Arturia's and their Astrolabia, which is what it's actually called. I mean, I guess if you searched that, it would probably show you the actual product. Their Astrolabia, it essentially plays... You can play patches from this and there, or patches from Pigments. Which... Where is Pigments? It's probably not even in the Arturia folder because I'm terrible with organizing. Pigments, it's probably like in my most used folder. No. In my instrument synth folder. No. Nope, it is in the Arturia folder. Yeah, it I don't even know if I've really played with the newer version. I don't think it has too many new features though. But Pigments is great. Yeah, I'm excited to try out the tape machine thing. Is Pigment still really hard to get an initial patch? Let's see. Yeah, you have to open this up. And then I think you have to actually search for an initial patch, like type. Custom, default. I mean, I guess you could save a preset that's the initial patch. I know it's user. Do I have any of mine in there? Oh no. Weird, my patch almost crashed it. What did I do in this patch? Ah, yeah, shit like this. This was for some musical thing I was doing. Don't remember what. Benn stream chimes. Holding down one key, by the way. Let's press 2 keys. Let's get wild. Oh. I love playing patches that you don't remember making. Not sure what's happening here. I guess this is one of those one key patches that just plays really slow to something else. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go with this for now, the piano one, because, does this have electric pianos, I wonder? Oh no, it might not. It may only, oh, I guess we would have to use an electric piano. But, okay. Let's load some effects. I don't know what to start with. I forgot which one the tape one is. I guess Mellify. Sounds legit. Sounds ridiculously legit. I mean, we're not going through it right now, but the sounds of it sound real. I dig. And then they have a new reverb one. Let's start with that. I'm just going to do it this way. I believe it is called Ambient. Maybe it's, yeah, EFX. Oh, it's not listed under Arturia. Crazy. Make this big. I'm going to try and get a electric piano as well. I feel like electric pianos are really good at being chill, so you could try out effects. Let's go with the Whirly V3. It's pretty basic. I mean, we have an advanced tab as well. Oh, nice. I feel like this is too quiet in my stream, not in my ears. I still don't. I mean, I'm going to sound biased. I think the best shimmer is in Beam, but just because of the universality of it. But yeah, shimmer's hard to pull off. Oh, you could change these. That's cool. I assume you can. Probably have to enable it. Let's listen to this through the tape. That sounds nice. What about a soft piano? Do we have those? Let's just go down to soft piano and see if that exists. We could just do this, right? Styles, sad, simple, soft. Yeah, I wouldn't consider these soft, but... Maybe we could make it soft. There we go. Can we make this a little less delayed? I guess this would do that, wouldn't it? Hmm. Problem is I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, weird. Now we see a sequence and a function. Huh. Must have been a little like GUI error there at first. Maybe this is too big. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the comments about the Rick Beato interview. Yeah, I've become friends with Rick. It's kind of funny. We have a lot in common. He's a good fella. He really is a good fella. Like he's inspired me a lot in terms of doing YouTube in a way that can scale. Like it just made me want to like build a team and give them health care and contribute to their well-being. And more on that in the future. I need to hire people first, but I have a management agency now that's going to help me with those things. From memory, Benn, you went traveling with a groove box. Did you miss the keyboard? Yeah. Yes. When I travel far and wide, I generally, like on those trips, like there's not enough room for instruments. And one thing that keeps happening, especially when that bastard Cameron Venus theory's with me, is I end up like longing for instruments so much that I end up buying instrument, like buying a new guitar or, a new like Latin, usually it's like a Latin American string instrument because I want to buy something I don't already own. But yeah, that's happened. Other times I've like ordered a cheap little MIDI controller just to have with me because it really like not for music production or anything like that. It's just that if I don't play an instrument, I get really tense and, lately, although today's a little different because it was stormy, but lately it's been beautiful here in Georgia. Like it's literally been like 75 degrees every single day, except for today. And yeah, lately I've been like waking up and immediately just putting my ass outside and like sitting on my porch with like a guitar or something like that, just because it's like so therapeutic to me. Just drinking my coffee with a guitar while my chickens make terrible noises at me. Hot take, but not an Arturia fan yet. But that's all the meh I have here to enjoy the session. The Rick session was neat, but really neat video. Oh yeah, that's a good question. Would I recommend Symphonic for distribution? I will be as forward as possible about that with you. So I had my issues with music distribution, as you know, and I got offers to sell. Now Jorge from Symphonic, he's a CEO. He's reached out about a couple different things about like the AI music detection and stuff like that when I was starting to do that. And he yeah, somebody was basically trying to buy my music library. And at that point I had been so pissed off about everything that happened with TuneCore, my entire library being taken down, and then it was put up, and then it was put up wrong. And I was basically offered a lump sum for the next like 5 years of my music royalties. And in my head at the time, I was like, what a perfect fuck you to like this industry that's flagging for like the entire way. That way, like the next time this happens, the next time I get falsely accused of streaming fraud or something like that, now a venture capital firm or a private equity firm that's buying up IP, they get to sue TuneCore. So in my head, I just didn't want to deal with it anymore because it was taking too much time and it made me feel gross, and I just don't want my music on those platforms. Like to be clear, the reason they're up on those platforms is because that's how most people listen to music, and people then they don't get to listen to my music and they might like my music. Like it has nothing to do with promotion, has nothing to do with that. Like my music career, if an album gets plays or not, I do not give a fuck anymore, which is beautiful. I love it. That's my favorite way to be a musician. But so that happened. Sorry to go into like a long-winded story, but I'm going to tell you how I got involved with them. Then I was like, well, I have a better idea. I have Voice Swap here, and I could start my own music distro, right? Like that's pretty cool. Raise my volume there. I could start my own music distro. And then if I start my own music distro, then I can have people from my community join the music distro. And so I kind of got the wheels going with that. And I was like, yeah, I know what music distros go through, but, I think this could provide a problem or a solution to that problem. And then it kind of dawned on me that every single time that somebody had a problem with it, then I would have to provide support to them. And that requires staff. And so Voice Swap was literally going to like do this, but we just didn't have the staff. And like we were the company was changing around a little bit. And I was like, I would just feel terrible if somebody put their music on this platform. It was like the most important thing in the world to them. And then we weren't able to deal with it because of our own. I'm going to have this mic shit sorted out in like 10 years, I promise you. But yeah, and then we weren't able to deal with it because of some sort of, just because we didn't have the staff to deal with it. And then the whole thing kind of dawned on me, like what goes into running a music distro. And when I had that offer, to buy up my music licenses, that was like still on the table and I just wasn't really responding. And someone sent me an email. I found out a little bird told me that Symphonic was actually trying to buy it as well, and that they were involved in that. And so I was like, okay, I should probably just reach out to Jorge directly and not go through, this agency that's buying up IP and reselling it at a profit and all this stuff. And yeah, and I talked to him a lot. I had a lot of, I had also like talked to him about just like how a music distributor could do better, things like that. And then he came up to Atlanta and I met him, and, spent a night with him, fucked him, sucked his dick. No, I mean, we like, got a drink. I met some of his family members and stuff, and, spent the evening with them. And, yeah, and then I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, you sound like a good distro. And I feel like it's one of those things where like with this channel and this community, if I'm signing with a distro, then I'm kind of saying this is a good distro, right? If I'm trusting my music with it, and that's more important to me than even my own music being with the distro. And so, yeah, but the big thing is that like if the average person signs up with Symphonic, they're going to get a little bit of a different deal than what I have. Like I give a small percentage of my royalties to them. So if something happens or if Spotify says, hey, we've had streaming fraud, then they have to deal with them, because like if I lose money, then Symphonic loses money. And so it's an attack on them. Whereas if you're paying them a monthly or a yearly fee to do that, while I do believe that Symphonic deals with those things better than like DistroKid does or TuneCore does, it is like at the end of the day, they can always just say, fuck you, we don't care. It's too much. It takes too much of our staff's time to deal with this, which is what all those other ones do. And the reason they haven't done that is because they want to capture the signups of people who are scared of that. Like they see that as like a way to increase their business. And I think that's good. I mean, it all works out for now, but just so you understand, you're never going to get the same sort of treatment as an artist that's pulling in good royalties is getting, because it's just an incentive thing, and it's just how shitty the entire industry is right now. So yeah, so as far as if I were to, and a lot of people ask me this all the time, like it's a very common question, just out of the available options, yeah, I would say Symphonic's probably the best. It's a good mix. It's a good blend between a giant company that's trying to continue making money and squeezing everything that they can. It's a good like middle ground between that and then between, a music distro that started a year or two ago and are just using like a white label service in between and probably won't exist next year or a year later. So it's like they have like a good reputation. They have an office with a lot of employees. I mean, they're set up in Tampa, Florida, I believe. Yeah, Tampa, Florida. And yeah, so yet they're still grounded enough and they care about their artists because that's how their business works. So yeah, there you go. That's my answer. In before the purpose for the music takedown was to annoy you enough to sell your catalog. Yeah, right? I wonder. Well, also, like, I don't think that buying a music catalog right now is a good idea. Like I think it's a terrible, like, from their perspective, from anybody buying it, I think that's a terrible investment. And weirdly enough, that was one of the things, that's one of the reasons I made that. That's one of the things that got me involved in making that video on the end of capitalism, was that's literally one of them, because for years I've been getting like offers to buy my music, and I've just been like, dude, buying music is like shit's bad when private equity groups are trying to invest in fucking music, like indie music. What? That's like the worst thing to invest. Like, that's like some, selling ketchup to somebody with white gloves type thing. Like, it's not a good thing to invest in because the royalties are always going down. But they just believe that, I guess, like, they don't believe in the US dollar more than they don't, or I guess they believe in the music investment more than they believe in the US dollar, which is the scary part of that. But yeah, this is a good reverb. Okay, so I kind of want to go to an init. I wonder if I can do that. Delay types. Can I just type init? Init. It's a very British thing to say. Hamburger menu, no. Come on, give me an init. Always. Oh, there we go. It's going to be over here, I bet. Tutorials. I don't want a tutorial. New preset. This still isn't like raw though, is it? Something's being modulated. Okay. Let's... I'm wondering if... I don't understand how to make a delay yet. Oh, what was your takeaway from your work with Adler Planetarium? I wish more museums would commission musicians for accompanying soundscapes to the music in those places. Yeah, the first time it was for a literal, like in the basement, they have a sort of astrophysics type of thing, like just sort of how light travels and stuff like that. And it was for that, and I think it still plays in that exhibit. And I believe that was called The Universe, and it was like 3 tracks. The funny thing, a funny story about that is, you know, this is years after I had already released Pale Blue Dot and stuff. And an agency, a friend of mine worked for an agency that was doing like some of the UI for some of that. And it was this kind of annoying agency. And he was like, yeah, my friend Benn like writes space music. Like he's actually kind of, you know, written a very popular space album that after Carl Sagan's thing, like we should definitely license his music and see if we do that. And the owner of this agency was such a douchebag about it. And I was just like, you know, whatever. And I ran into, somebody that my dog, when Lucy was a puppy, she would play with this other dog at the park. And I finally started talking to the owner, and he worked at the planetarium. And he was like, oh my God, yeah, Pale Blue Dot, Ben Jordan, you're that guy. Yeah, we literally listen to your music all the time. We play it. We like use it as background music when we're designing our shows. And and I met with like the president of the planetarium, Mark Sabor, who's now like a close friend of mine. And so they just completely sidestepped the agency, which was hilarious. One of my favorite things in the world. It's just like the middleman's a dick, and then they sidestep the middleman. They make nothing. And I did that. So, and then they commissioned me to do Cosmic Wonder, which was funny because they had sort of like an HR type person working. There's a lot of rules, and I was getting really pissy about it, but I just sort of did whatever I wanted and made her mad, but everybody else was happy about it. And then Planet 9 was excellent to work with. They just gave me a budget up front. Wasn't even that big of a budget, but I mean, you know, it was decent, and that's kind of what got me into modular. I mean, I already had some modular stuff, but I was like, ooh, I want to write this entire thing in Logic. Not Logic, the DAW, but like Logic, the, Boolean algebra. Like I want to write as much of this as possible in Logic because it feels like it's working that way. And that was really interesting because it was like, while we were working on that, like they were doing the animations and, I had the script and stuff and I would write for it. And then the script would change and the animations would have to change, not because they didn't have time lock, because they discovered new shit that was like so much more interesting than it was a week ago, because they were actively like, pinging the Hubble to look at this thing. And so at the time I was also there quite a bit too. I believe I had just moved down here, and so I was traveling back and forth and just staying in this like hotel nearby. And I was a lot more involved in that one, in the overall show, and that was really great. And in a weird way, that kind of, because I think when I first started talking to the people there, I was like, the musician, the druggie, the high school dropout guy, and they were like the smart scientists. And then working with them kind of made me feel like, oh, this is actually totally accessible, and the stuff that I've been obsessed with, they're obsessed with it too. And the only difference is like, the sort of academic route that they went towards learning, which, has its pros and cons, obviously, but it made me feel, and yeah, I mean, without that experience, I don't think I would have a YouTube channel that does what it does. Is it €3.99 to upgrade? No. Is it? That's really expensive. I mean, there's a lot of plugins here, and I truly do feel like the Arturia effects are like, if you were to choose one plugin package, I would probably say this is the one to choose, but that's a lot of money. By Logic, I mean like, imagine gates and velocities and notes using like the if then not, if and then not type of, old, like Logic gates essentially. Which, pre-delay, I'm so stupid, man. But that led to me like writing melodies that otherwise I would have like not found. I feel like after some years making music, you end up becoming your like biggest critic in a way that really diminishes what you put out. And so a lot of times you have to like invent things to limit yourself, so you're not always trying to beat the last thing you made, even if it doesn't require that because it's for a planetarium. So a good example of that, of where that works really well, is sim selections. you have little keywords and challenges and things like that, so you're not like so far up your own ass that you don't like making music anymore. Yeah, okay, so we can make some pretty nice sounds here. And the ducking just, okay. I mean, if we have time, I could actually show you some if then. Well, not then, if and. I'm mixing up Logic with like general low level computer. Boolean is not gates, and gates, things like that. So like if, but it turns into if then. So it's like if you, how do I describe it? The way streetlights work, like if 77th Street has a red light and 95th Street has a red light, then 87th Street will have a green light. And the way now they use more advanced systems, but some of the old ones, I mean, some of them still use the old Logic ones where That's like, it's just like how computers worked before we had like microprocessors. Sounds like an orchestra. I don't understand. I guess it's just the codec. I don't understand how things sound higher. So Siren shouldn't do that. Yeah. And then, okay, so I guess let's have random affect the pitch. Okay, that sounds about how I would expect it to sound. Organist. Yeah, I feel like I would layer this with reverb, which Arturia has plenty of. I'm wondering why they have a different naming scheme. Here's our Blade Runner reverb. Large Hall B. Actually, I think it's Large Hall. And so this one just drops it automatically, I have a feeling. And that's our shimmer. so we could shimmer and lower at the same time. Do I not have? I mean, it might just be like right now. The reason why I have a new computer that I've been trying to get up and running forever, and do I not have that tape installed? It should be. I mean, I own it. Very strange. We'll have to deal with this one for now. This is one of my favorite. This is probably my favorite tape echo emulator. 500's a lot to ask for anything. Yeah, I would wait for sale then. And they do go on sale. I mean, they generally do have pretty big sales. Well, the big difference. So one thing to note not defending that amount of money for any plugins. I mean, like the black hole reverb from Eventide. It's like I think that cost close to $500, or at least it did when it was released. The plugin, by the way. One big difference, huge difference between Arturia and Native Instruments is Arturia is generally working with the companies that, you know, they're not just sort of like off the cuff. So when they make like a reverb algorithm, like some of the ones that you heard earlier, for example, they're actually working with the companies on that algorithm, or with their synths as well. I don't know if that looks like a licensing fee that they're paying. I'm not really sure how that works in the end, but I do know that it generally it means that you have a stronger thing. Also, their UI is just way better than anything Native Instruments makes, and their performances. I mean, yeah. So it's just, you could tell that they're not just like trying to make as much money as possible. They're trying to making a product. I've never really played with this one that much. No, most people don't. Most people just make shit. Like, they're like, oh, people want an 808. We'll make an 808 plugin. But like, for example, if you go through like UVI, if you go to uvi.com or something, and look at their or .net, and look at their vintage pack, for example, you know, all the stuff that they sell, they have a lot more stuff, but you'll notice that they are very careful not to mention the original hardware unless you really go deep in to see what it is. Whereas Arturia, they just use the name, and that's because they're working with the companies, so they're not worried about being sued. I mean, Arturia loses money on some of this stuff too. It's not, the profit margin for software is pretty difficult, depending on, you know, what it is that you're trying to make. This is FL Studio. One of the not great plugin, one of the not great DAWs to try out a bunch of new plugins every week. I feel like FL Studio's way of dealing with plugins is great if you have like plugins that you know you want to use all the time and you're not constantly changing them or using them, but yeah, Fragments is great for making, I mean, it's awesome for making anything into a pad. Wow. I mean, considering what my original sound is, that's pretty wild. Oh, I turned the volume down, not the mix. You know, one that I never paid attention to, I mean, it's probably not good for a piano, but is Cold Fire. Definitely better for something like drums, but just because there's some really good comb filters on here. Actually, let's just go to new preset. That doesn't initialize it, does it? God damn it. All right, so it is one of the better distortion plugins, and I'm not a huge fan of distortion plugins in general. Yeah. All right, so let's just find a distortion. I mean, this is fine. Tape distortion's great. Then how we route them. There's still way more to this. I don't know if we could assign this to the main filter, though. Can we? Oh yeah, we have our pre-filter as well. So that can be a comb filter. Yeah, this is so crazy for a distortion filter. Now I want to assign an envelope. Let's see if we do this. Yes, we can. Actually, I want this backwards. Love it. This is what I signed up for. I don't want no syncing. Will it still follow if it's not syncing? No, we could fix that. I mean, we really should be putting the ambient after this, too. Still has that nice, pretty... I still have something I want to put in here. I love that, like, I thought that was coming from outside, but it's a nice, weird distortion, tapey. I need to make this one a little bit longer here. Okay, so maybe this should have a random on it. No, I don't think we have random as a function here. Probably because it's not really needed, but I need it now. I guess we could just make a random function. Actually, is there a randomly preset now? We're getting there. Just remember that this is the sound I'm playing. Could leave the reverb. A little bit of splash. Never hurt anybody. Except for those aliens at the end of Signs. Whew. this Edison shit. Let me clear my pattern here. If I could remember how. Erase. Nope. Erase pattern 1. We did it. Why is it doing? So dumb. I guess it just. I don't know if anybody knows this, but FL Studio has a step recorder. I haven't used it in many, many years. Actually, is it hidden now? It might be hidden in plain sight. Record to step sequencer. I don't think that worked. Oh, no. Oh, I see. Never mind. Yeah, I don't remember how to use it. Or maybe it seems like they may have just changed it, or seems like people just don't like it anymore. But yeah, maybe it's up here. I bet it's here somewhere. I doubt they would take it out. I'm sure there's people who still absolutely love it. Remember, it had something to do with the right click. Fine, I'll Google it. FL Studio Step Sequencer. I'm going to have to search for it within the file that I just got about the step sequencer. Oh, there's a whole other page for it. Channel rack and step note just brought me to the top of that. I should just show you what I'm looking at right now because it's kind of frustrating. Yeah, I thought it was. Record to step sequencer, but I don't know if it's actually doing that. It opens this up. And then if you click play, yeah, it just records it there instead of the piano roll. I think that's what it means. Let's try and search for step record. Step entry. That's what it's called. Enable steps selected from the toolbar. The foot icon. That's what I was looking for. I don't see it anymore. Used to be a little foot. I'm like on Reddit now. Oh, looks like they may have something now where you do it. Control E, it says. Okay. Oh, and it's all right. I mean, that works. It's probably more intuitive than the way it used to be. I didn't know how to do it. So again, you press Control E. Let's see what other. I haven't played with the filters too much. Let's see what else I have. Okay. That's nice. The weirdest way to make music in FL Studio. Wonder if that will modulate that filter as well nicely. It does. The most we can possibly do with one electric piano instrument. This is how you test an effects bundle, by the way. Don't use a bunch of VSTs. Use one simple one and go nuts. I don't know if that's going to work. Shouldn't work. We'll see if it does. Let's turn the effects off. There we go. It's like live coding, but not. Arturia does make a drum machine. I don't know if I have it though. It's old. It's like their first plugin, I think. It came with a little drum machine thing as well. Do I have it? What was it called? Maybe I don't have it on the. I think I had it on my last computer when it was still like years out of date. It was pretty bad. I forgot what it was called though. God, what is it? I mean, it's like their very first. Yeah, I can't even find any. Spark. That was the name of it. Arturia Spark, and it came with a little drum machine that. Yeah, I don't have it anymore. But I mean, it's generally just like a sample player. It's nothing that would compete with anything these days. Yeah, emulator has drums for sure. So does that. There's a couple ones that have like some drums in them, but you know, it's just basically emulating synths that already have drums in them. Anything else that we're missing here? I mean, I feel like it's kind of a tall order to go through this many. There's so many plugins. A lot of the preamps and stuff too that I've just not really played with. Oh yeah. Really the wrong instrument for this. Yeah, I don't know. Not the right not the right plug. I mean, I guess if we're playing chords and we want to. Yeah, I don't know. At a certain point, old plugins become awesome plugins again. Yeah, depends. Some age better than others. I mean, in sense of like some code, like some libraries continue to get updated and it gets more efficient over time, or at least it stays as efficient. And then other plugins, it's like they might depend on some sort of library that like gets updated to be less efficient, and then you just have an old plugin that runs less efficiently than a new plugin. And most new plugins are pretty inefficient. I'm pretty disappointed. But with that being said, I'm out. Thanks for watching. Thanks Arturia for giving me a license update. They emailed me to ask me if I was going to Super Booth, and I was like, hey, you want me to, I kind of want to check out those new, I don't even think I asked for one. I think I was just like, yeah, I might check out the new upgrade to the thing, and then they just gave me a license. So that's why I'm being nice about everything. That's why I hate this, and I'm just lying because they gave me a free license. No, it absolutely doesn't work that way. In fact, I was thinking to myself, like, Arturia is one of the few developers where I can count on them not only not showing up to the stream, which I don't know. I don't mind developers showing up to the stream. Like it's useful for my viewers, I guess, because like people have questions, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. I just open this thing, and then the developers will be like, actually, you could hold down control and then press the tip of your nose, and then modulation happens. But it makes me feel uncomfortable. But I think the reason it makes me feel uncomfortable because it makes me feel like I'm like I can't say anything critical about it, or I can't do that without like emotional baggage. Arturia would never do that. I think just because they're too busy. And they're too French, but they also probably won't even watch the stream. They don't seem to give a shit in a good way. Like they're just like, yeah, sure, have fun. Which is why like the last gear video I did was on the, the last gear video I did was on the Polybrute, or one of the last ones. I think that was the last gear video ever. And yeah, I mean, that was because they literally said, hey, do you want to do a Polybrute video? And I said, no, I don't really want to do a gear review video, but I do want to make music on it, but I'll pay you if I have to. You know, I understand that you can't just be giving this shit away for free. And they said, no, make music on it. And I did. And, you know, that's a video. So, which I feel like probably sells it better than any other thing. But yeah, wait for it on sale if it's too much. Oh yeah, next week I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to see how hard it is. I am speaking at Georgia Tech next week at 6:30 p.m. And doing a Q&A with the college kids and whoever else wants to show up. It might be a public event. I am going to post some details about it. I'll post it to I'll leave a note for myself to post it to my Discord first. So, you know, if there's like passes or something like that, because I think there's only like, 50 or 100 seats or something like that. And then I'll put it on Instagram after that. But I would like to live stream it. I feel like that'd be a fun live stream. If not, then I'll just reschedule my stream and do it at another date. Yeah, that's all. So next week will be that, or I won't be here on Thursday and I'll be here on a different day. What else? Yeah, I'll make them give me coffee. I'll make them polish my shoes while I'm doing it, get their college education, college loan worth. And then on Monday, I don't think I'm going to announce it exactly where it is, but on Monday, I believe I'm going to be speaking at a city council to Flock's CISO. So they have some executives there, so that'll be fun. Maybe the CEO himself will show up and just shoot me in the head. But yeah, I'm going to be speaking to, I'm more or less going to be confronting them about security stuff. So that'll be fun. That'll probably be streamed somewhere, like, because most city council meetings are. Like, they're kind of streamed to the public. That's it. What's the topic of the Georgia Tech thing? I think it's mostly, I think it's their gray hat hacker club thing. So probably hacking, which is funny because I don't even consider myself a hacker. I consider myself a hacker in the sense where like I take everything apart that I own to see how it's made, but I don't consider myself a hacker, and like I have no interest in chasing bug bounties or, filing CVEs or anything. But maybe I should. Maybe my life would be easier. Anyway, have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and I will see you soon. And hopefully I'll have a video out in the next couple weeks because things keep need to be moving. Things need to be moving, everybody.